Welcome back, guys. This is going to be the 18th part of our video tutorial series. As I mentioned in my last video tutorials, what we're going to do today is we're going to create a little search feature of the application. This is how our application looks like currently. So today's what we'll be coding is we'll have in this area, so we will have a search menu, search drop-down menu. And then we'll have it in the menu. We'll have two items: search the product and search the category. Today we'll be working on search product. Okay, so the very first thing we have to do in our code base is, of course, we need to have one more menu right here. We're going to add a menu here called a search using the Bootstrap HTML5. Okay, so how are we going to do this one? There is the EJS file called template. Okay, that's where all our this layout page, .EJS, and this is going to be very simple. We just need a code similar to this one here. Okay, so basically I'm going to copy this one right here, and then this is going to go into this section right here. So this is a on order list with a drop down, and all these things are part of the Bootstrap. So instead of product category, this markup is going to be a search. Search, and these are all the Bootstrap CSS. That way it will have a little vertical arrow coming down. Looks nice. And then here we're going to define, just like we have create product category. First one, we're going to define a search product here into the list here, in the menu list. First menu list, we're going to define search product and search product category. And let's change the name here to search product, the label, and this one is going to be a search product category. Search product category, and this is all we have to do. But if I save this one here now, I should be, and I refresh my page into the browser right here. This is the search feature. This is what we're going to develop. So today we're going to talk about search product. I don't know how far we can get, and we're going to start with the HTML portion, the markup first, okay? And then mainly today we'll be working on search product. Of course, this endpoint, this URL doesn't exist right now. It says this one doesn't exist. This is how it displays in the IE browser, but if I run the same application into the Chrome, it works a little differently. Let's see. Let me copy that URL and put it into the Chrome. Okay, it says the search product is not found. Oh, there is no history. So okay, this is our page, and we have a search menu right now, search product, which doesn't exist because we haven't defined. So of course, the very first thing we have to do is we need to add a page. Let's go ahead and add a page called a search product. We're gonna add an EJS file into our view. So what we have to do, we go into view, and we're gonna add a new file called search product.EJS. Okay. Of course, even though we just added the search product, but it's, as you know, it's not going to work because we have to define our we have to do the configuration of our URL, right, our source product. So as you know from my previous video tutorials, so that should be pretty easy. We can go into our route table here. So we have here's the route, product route config. So just like a view product, we're going to define one route here. We're going to add a new route. We're going to do a configuration. This is new route table, request type is get, and this is going to be a search product. And the callback function, this time we are not returning any JSON data. We are basically rendering the page. The page that we are rendering is called search product. And the title we would like to have for that page is, let's say, product search, or whatever title you would like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save all this information, and if I refresh this page now, and if I go into search product, why it didn't work? Search product is here, product search. Did I save everything? It's my route. Oh, let me make sure my my server is running. This is my PowerShell window. Let me go ahead and close everything and restart the Go default here. Okay, if I refresh this page now, search products, why it didn't run? It's a GET request into a search product. It's a 3 or 4. Some configuration is not okay, not working properly. Let's look into it. So what is my EJS file name? Search product.EJS. Oh, okay. Oh, actually it is working, because sorry for that, guys. I was looking for all the menu and everything, but I haven't written anything, any code in here, just empty. So it worked, but I was looking for the menu. Okay, that's the next thing we're gonna do. Okay, it rendered okay without any problem. So this is our source product. Let's go ahead and delete this guy. Okay, there is a source product, and then next thing, as we, of course, on this one also, because it will be inside our master page. So let's go ahead and include our master page into here. So all we have to do is we need to include layout. This is our layout page, and this is our easiest syntax, right? So basically we are saying, hey, we have this template, layout template. We want you to render into this page also. Let's go ahead and save it, close everything, and then if I refresh this, cool. Now the layout page, which is basically our menu, is visible, and it's a search product. The feature is working, right? Now we can, we can do a redirection into that page. Our link is now established. And next thing we're going to do, into search product, EJS, we would like to have basic templates. Let me change this for now. I want to make this guy as a HTML page when I work on it. Okay, so basically I'm going to add a little bit of markup here. I'm going to have a div here. Well, actually, the code, I just want to put the header section of the code here, but the header section already, I'm just going to grab from some existing. When I say heading, guys, this is what I'm referring to. This is my heading here. If I add this piece of code, into our page, so search product, and then this is what I mean. This is how we have defined our head section of our page. Okay, I'm thinking maybe putting this little bit of code, this markup, into a separate file. That way, I don't have to write 3 or 4 lines of code. I just have to include. But just for now, I'm just going to copy, which is okay. And let's go ahead and save this file and remove .html extension, and you will see the save everything. Close this guy and refresh the page. Okay, this is what I mean. This is what I wanted you to see. This is our head section of the page. The next thing we would like to define is we need to have, we want to have some sort of markup here. Right here, we want to define our source field, source criteria, and all those things. Let's go back again into source product, and I'm going to change the extension again to HTML while I'm working on it. I open it up, and basically what I would like to have here is something like this. I will have a div container here and data ng. This is defined. Our common module name is a product module. Here is a product module. Oops, spelling. And then I want the AngularJS to control the entire section of this markup, so I'm also going to say data ng controller equals to, I don't have that controller yet, so I'm going to define a controller called source product controller. We'll be defining a new controller, okay? AngularJS controller name source product controller. And then what I'm thinking is something like our div gonna close here, and in here, okay, this is source product controller. In here we'll have our source criteria. So ideally what I want is something like I want to include here I would like to include a page search partial product. Okay, we'll have a EJS file with a given name, and that contains all our field, our drop-down list, our text box, our text boxes, and all those information. Okay, this is what I want to have here, and go ahead and save it. Of course, it's the next thing I have to do is this is our so this is a source. The way I want it is like this is all the this page will contain all the text boxes and all the source criteria, and I will have a new page right here after this that contains a search result that basically contains the grid. I would like to utilize as much code as possible. So that's why I would like to have this into a separate page. Okay. That next thing I would like, of course, we have to do is we have to let's go ahead and include all the JavaScript. Okay, I would like to go into, because I have already a lot of code written to the, let's go into view product, and I'm going to grab a bunch of JavaScript from here, and I need to include most of this and copy this one into and put it into this space here. And here, of course, we need the Angular reference. We'll be using the product module service. Only thing we don't need is a view product controller. Instead of view product controller, we will have a new controller called source product controller. We'll be defining this controller, okay? And let's go ahead and save this information here. And just for now, comment out this section of the page. Okay. And save everything. Let's try to, we should have a, yeah, which makes sense. This is like, hey, source product, there is an error, which makes, maybe it doesn't like this syntax right here. Let me see why it is complaining about that. Must be that one, or my server died down. Ooh, yeah, failed to look up source product. Yeah, I have a failure. It started looking into a source product and it couldn't find it. That's why I was failure. But let me restart it. Okay, let me refresh this page now. Knows who it is problem. Okay, it is pointing to a product route config. So let's see why it is product route config. That is our route configuration, product route config, and we are saying a source product to source product. Oh my goodness, sorry for that, guys. You know, the reason is like maybe I haven't changed the extension. Yeah, right here. It has no idea what the HTML is doing here. Oops. Okay, this should be good now. Oh, look at that. Of course, you know, right now, we should have our AngularJS JavaScript error because we don't have the controller called JavaScript console here. So it is complaining, which makes sense. It's looking for a source product controller, and that controller we have not defined. Let's go ahead and define it, because you remember from this JavaScript right here into source product is try to download this file which we have not defined. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to define the source product controller. Okay, that way we will be, you know, we will be proceeding in an incremental way. Okay, so let's go into, let me close this one right now and go into our AngularJS folder for product. Here's a product, and here's all our controller. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new file here, and this is going to be a source product controller.js. Okay. I'm going to grab most of the code from here. well, I don't need a lot of code, but I will be changing it. The reason I would like to have, I don't like to include all the code into a product controller, view product controller, is because searching is really complicated feature, so I would like to have isolated code just strictly for the search product controller. That's why I have decided to create a separate controller. Okay, so let's go ahead and change some of them. Instead of this, it's going to be a source product controller. And we need that, and we need to change our injection and the name of our method here. And then we don't need a lot of code from here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a bunch of code. Remember, we grabbed this code from the view product. View product, so we don't need. Let me make sure my curly braces. I don't need this code. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that code. Yeah, we don't need to edit, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this code also. But I'm doing it in an incremental way because as there is some code that we need, we don't have to rewrite. So I'll keep. We don't need none of this validation and stuff. None of this view. Yeah, actually none of those code is needed. So here is our source product controller, and this is our function here, and this is extra curly braces. Okay, so this is all we have to do. Well, this is not right now. We have just an empty template. Nothing else is there. At least our code we shouldn't have any AngularJS error anymore. As you can see in our console window, everything looks okay. Everything looks clean. That is nice. So next thing we would like to do, of course, writing HTML in live coding is a lot of code. So what I have decided is I have already written the HTML portion of the code. So I will show you that and explain to you briefly. So I have a file called source product partial.exe. This is the file we'll be including into our source product page. Okay, so just to see this one now, I'm going to change this into the HTML file. Okay. Well, even before that, let me show you how does it look like. This is plain. Most of this code I basically grab it from the Bootstrap website, so it's pretty easy. Only thing I will be explaining is the portion that has to do with the Angular binding. Okay, so we would like to include this source product partial into our source product EJS. So basically we're going to do that. Include syntax again. Include layouts. It's not going to be a layout, of course, and the name of our partial search page is going to be search product partial. And let's go ahead and save this file, and then from HTML to change its name to EJS. If I save everything and render this page again into the browser, you will see how our search criteria looks like. Okay, it says no such file of source product partial.exe. Source. Oh, I didn't change the HTML extension, did I? Not that. search pro. Oh, no extension. I got rid of all the extension. That's why it is complaining that error. So if I okay, this is how it looks like. Let me close the this is how I have decided to write the markup. So of course, right now I don't have a button. We'll have a button called search, and then the reset. So we can search by the product name, the product description, and the product category. We need to bind out our category right here, and you can see whether product is retired or not. You can select by this radio button right here, and then you can sort it either in ascending order or descending order, whatever. This in here in the order by column, we'll have all the column that we can do order by for the product. Okay, this is how our search functionality gonna work. I mean the widget of the search feature gonna look like. And then this next thing that we're gonna do, of course, and we need to bind our category here, and we also need to bind our the order by, and since the sorting is either by an ascending order or descending order of the given property, a given column, so I just have a hard-coded value for ascending order and descending order. In here, order by, I will be including the code. It will have some property that we need to bind. Okay, let's look into this code here, this markup. And to see this one, just for now, I'm going to go into I'm going to change it into HTML. I'm going to only talk here. The first thing we're going to talk about is a category, and let me bump this one a little bit, and then let me close this side here. It's basically, we have been using this so often. So basically we have a select, a drop down list widget in the product category, and we're going to give a model name, and the first option in the drop down list is basically please select the product search category, and then here is our binding, AngularJS binding. We'll have a property into our controller, search product controller, called product categories. We are basically iterating. We're doing for each on this property, and each iteration we're just binding the drop down list value with the ID and then the name of the category. We have been using this code in other controller also, so we're just gonna go ahead and expose that into our controller, and we should be, and after that we should have our binding for the category right here. Let's go ahead and write that code. Okay, so we are in here, and now I'm going to zoom it out. It's too big. So we're going to go into a source product controller. Source product controller. In here, let's go ahead and define scope product categories, and let's define it as an empty array. And then we have already injected our product service into the controller, so we're going to tap into that, and we basically product service has a method called get all product categories, and on success of that call, we will have a callback function here, and here basically we can do something. We can have some if statement to make sure we have a data. All these properties are set before assigning those data. And data object will have a property we have already written that code, so has a property called product categories. That should be that. And if that property also exists, and then if their property product categories dot length, which is an array, if that array contains some data, we're just going to bind it here. Let me put my curly braces right here. That is the convention I've been using. So this is my convention, guys. If I write a code in C#, I would like to have my curly braces in the same line, but in JavaScript, for some reason, I prefer this convention. And then basically, we define this property here, and let's set that data.product categories. Okay, let's make this code a little better and save everything. Assuming that there is no typo or anything else or syntax, we should have our binding. We should have all our product category that we can use. Okay, so definitely search. There isn't typo here. No source file or directory. Okay. Ha 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 ha. It is complaining about I haven't changed the HTML extension. That's why. Okay, this is the server-side error from the Express, from our templating engine that we are using. Okay, cool. Awesome. See, now our category is currently bound. So next thing we have is next drop down is the source order. Select source order by. So that one is I will be hard coding that one because you can do a several way. You can basically write a SQL to pull out all the columns from the table. I kind of started with that one, but let me just briefly explain to you what I mean. Like, if it depends on your requirement. If your requirement is like a user should be able to sort or order by all the column in the table, you can instead imagine like you have like huge amount of column in the table. In that case, instead of manually hard coding, you can write some SQL code like this. Let me show you what I mean. Here is what I did. I have something called utility DAO, and so basically in my SQL database, I'm saying select the column name as a search parameter from this information schema. That's the view, and all the columns where table name matches the table name. User going to provide the table name and the schema name, which is basically your database. You can do something like this too, but I have decided not to do it that way. I just basically hard coding because I have very few columns in my product. So we can do into here. Well, even before that, let's look at into our markup EJS file here. .html and going. Oops. What is the srml? Sorry for that. So HTML. That's why no intelligence is coming out. So the way I have decided to bind this right here, as you can see, line number 13. Okay. So this drop-down list, by default, select search order by. We don't have this property exposed. This property called search parameters. It is not exposed to our controller. We'll have to expose, and this property, this object will have a property called value, and will have a name. So my idea is right here is this name is whatever name I would like to show to the user, kind of like a meaningful descriptive name. And this value basically corresponds to actual column name to my table. So that's why I kind of thought about doing this way. So let's go ahead and define this property, okay, into our controller. Search product controller, and let me collab this side now. Let's go in here and define new property. Scope, and this is just going to be JavaScript array. Okay, in here I'm going to define a bunch of property. You will see what I mean, like as I start defining. Here I'm going to expose a property called name, and I'm going to say a product. Oops, it's a string. I'm going to say a product ID. That's a description that we're going to show to our drop-down list, and we'll have a value that corresponds to the column in our table, which is ID. This is our first search parameter, okay? And then let's go ahead and copy and paste this and change the values. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I don't know. For some reason, everyone got indented. Okay, let me. Okay. Boom. Okay, cool. So this is going to be the product category, and that corresponds to a columns that we have in MySQL database called product category. FK. And the next one is the cost of the products. We can display as a product cost, and in database it's like this. And we have next property is name of the product, and just the name, and we're going to display it as a product description, and this is just the description. And then next one is the product selling price, and this corresponds to product price. Okay, this is all we have to do. We have just a hard-coded value right now. Like I told you before, you have, if based on your requirement and how much, how much information the admin really wants, you can do it several ways. If you have like really few columns, you don't really have to go into backend database using that TCP connection, fetching the data, from the server and displaying it. You just can put this information in the browser. But if you have really huge amount of data, but it depends, totally up to you. Okay, let's go ahead and save this information right now, and then refresh our page. Let's see how it works. Oh. Okay, it doesn't know. Okay. Now if I refresh this page, it shouldn't complain. Okay, now our category is bound already, and by default it says, please select the product search category, and it says order by product ID, product category, product cost, blah blah blah, all this information. So in next video tutorial, what we'll do, we'll have a button right here, and we'll have a reset button, and then we'll be writing all the nice code. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching videos. See you guys until next videos. Thank you.